Sorry. Okay, welcome to the second annual African Film Festival, Atlanta. My name is Oliver Greene, and I'm a professor at Georgia State University and the music department. I'm an ethnomusicologist. And I'm also was on the film selection committee for the African Film Festival Atlanta program. And wanted to say a few things here about the festival, so you'll get a chance to understand what the festival is about and the focus and the objective of the festival. So the African Film and Arts Foundation is a nonprofit 501c3 media arts organization based in Atlanta, whose mission is to magnify and celebrate the visions, voices, lives, and stories of people from Africa and the African diaspora. We execute our mission currently producing two main events: cinema for the culture, a monthly film screening, and conversation session with filmmakers and the African Film Festival Atlanta, a 3-day film festival showcasing films from around the world. Our theme this year is redefining the African voice, one story at a time, being responsible for highlighting the brilliance of new and emerging filmmakers is a feat that African Film Festival Atlanta is committed to being a forerunner in. This festival offers the opportunity to support the ever-growing African film community in Atlanta. Atlanta has a significant number of African immigrants and is reputed to be the third largest settlement for Africans in the United States. Coupled with the fact that Atlanta is an epicenter for the film industry in Georgia, a state that produces the largest quantity of films in the US now. A homegrown African Film Festival Atlanta is long overdue. Okay, so before we get started, I wanted to mention two things. And one is that the director for the film festival, it is her birthday, Mojisola Shonoiki, as well as the film director for our first film that we're going to talk about today, Bakoló, Music International, that is Tom Vantorre. So happy birthday to both of you. Happy birthday to both of you. This is really quite, I felt left out because it's not my birthday, but when we were talking about things, I'm born a little bit earlier in September, same time of the year though. But so we're gonna have a few questions here. For Tom about the beautiful film that he has, Bakoló, Music International. I watched it and it's an incredible film. It's such a beautiful, beautiful film, and it celebrates a part of our community in the area, especially in film. When we think about commercial film, so much things is based on youth and that whole idea of youth. But in looking at this film, I saw a lot of things that were about the people who bring the greatest amount of wisdom in our communities. And so I thought about that. So just a couple of questions for you, a few questions. Can you tell us, Tom, how did the project evolve? How did it come about?
It was a little bit by coincidence that I met him first. I was in Kinshasa doing another project, and suddenly I couldn't continue. So I was there stuck and I had nothing to do. And then the people I was staying with, they made me listen to this music, and I was like, wow, what's this? Honestly, I didn't know Congolese rumba before. And I heard this music and it just touched me immediately. So we started talking about it, and they actually knew these musicians. So they proposed to go and meet them the day after. And so did we do. And they had an improvised rehearsal in the garden of Papa Bakunda, the main character in the film. And it was just magic. They started playing and it was so beautiful to see. And being there in Kinshasa in a very popular neighborhood, the neighbors came and looked over the fence, and it was like the entire neighborhood was filled with his music. and it was for me really a very special moment. But I just enjoyed it as it was and came back home afterwards. But it stuck to me, and I felt like, okay, this is so special, and these guys are so beautiful in the way they grow old,
Mhm.
that it really meant something to me. And then I got together with my friend who is actually more a fiction director.
Mhm.
And we sat together and we started talking about it, and we started making plans, and we said, yes, let's do this. Somebody has to make a film about these guys. And at first I was really hoping that somebody in Kinshasa would do it, and that somebody local would say, yes, let's make a film about them. But that didn't happen. So in the end, we said, okay, we're gonna do this. Let's work on it. And 5 years later, 5 years later, the film exists.
Okay. Okay. So it's 5 years. All right. Cool.
It was
So
in 2015 that I met him first. So, and the film actually finished. We finished the editing last year when
huh?
the pandemic started. So it took some time to find its audience.
Okay. Okay. So a few words about the technical setup and everything. How did you? How were things done in creating the film there? How did you? You know, some things, particular things in reference to the shooting, the production, everything there. You want to talk about some of those things?
Mhm. I'm basically in the first place a cameraman and a photographer.
Okay.
So that's what I normally do. I'm not always working as a director,
Okay.
but on this project, I decided to do so. So I come from a very visual background,
Uh,
and it was for me the occasion to do the image exactly as I wanted to, and try the things out that I always wanted to do. So I wanted to shoot everything on prime lenses. And tell me if I'm getting too technical.
no, no, no.
But that was for me very important. That was like the starting point for the visual side, because I do feel like every focal length has a different character and tells a different story. Um, so the first thing we always did is we sat together, we sat down and we talked about the scenes that we were going to shoot. Um, and on the basis of what we wanted to tell with the scene that we were going to shoot, I chose the lens, and we always stuck with that. And from there on, I just shot it the way I liked it to look. I felt very free in this project to do exactly as I like. But it was really like, it always was a starting point of what do we want to tell with this scene? What's going to happen? What do we expect to happen? And what's important to us? Is it about one particular person, or is it the situation? Is it the interaction? All these kind of things were important. And on that basis, I could choose a lens.
Okay. Okay. Great. Did you have how can I say- in putting it together? And this is a question directly related to what you just mentioned. There was an idea of a sequence before with the trip to Europe from Kinshasa. How did you plan everything out in reference to the different scenes? Is it just based on what was happening? They had the rehearsals and they went there, then they came back. You followed that particular structure of an order because as the film evolved, basically in that succession of events. That's how you followed along with it along that.
Mainly, it is chronologic. Mainly, the film is in the same way as we shot it.
Mhm.
Um, but we did go several times to Kinshasa
Okay.
before the tour.
Okay.
And those scenes, of course, they changed places.
But that's what,
depending on what the story needed. But we knew, okay, what do we want to tell in the first part where they are preparing and in the build up to the tour. We knew that we wanted from every character something special that would show them. And then we had also the recording in the studio, because they were recording an album, which was like one of the main lines in the Kinshasa part as well. Purely story-wise, that was important, but for us, the character is more important. The people are more important than how we could show them in their habitat, in their environment. And that wasn't shot chronologic, but as soon as the tour starts, everything is as it is in the film. And we had no other choice, because we thought about it before, but then if you have seen the film, so you know there's some accidents, somebody goes to a hospital, and
right.
so there's no way of shifting after that, because suddenly one person isn't there anymore. So the tour is really chronologically shot as it is shown in the film.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's interesting that the focus on. Let's talk a little bit about some of the people that are in the film, the musicians that are there, and their individual, I guess, how they're portrayed. And because I saw you wanted to capture the character in many ways, the role of many of these musicians and their significance, from Bakunda, Papa Bakunda, as a person who represents the continuation of Wendo, who started the group. And I think you mentioned 1948 is how far it goes back. And then I think it mentioned in 1953 is the first recording or something, when maybe that was when Bakunda started with him. I'm not sure. Was he with them originally, but the very came on later, and how some of the other musicians became involved, if you know.
When Papa Wendo started, Bakunda was 14 years old, I think. But already at that age, he was playing in several studios. And going back to that time, there was really a music industry in Kinshasa at that time. So you had several studios, and it was a little bit like when you talk about Motown. It's like you have a studio which is recording songs, and you have different artists coming in and they release their singles, and you have studio musicians, and that's how Papa Bakunda started. Already at a very young age, he was playing in these studios, and he was actually making a lot of money at the time, because he told me once that he was 14 and his parents were a little bit suspicious, and they thought he was doing some funny business, because their entire bathtub at the time was filled with money, because that's how much money he was making at the time. He just every day he went into the studio and he made a lot of money. So there was a real music industry, and Kinshasa, also in Congo Brazzaville, but mainly in Kinshasa, they were recording the Congolese rumba, and it was really very popular at the time all over the continent. So there was really a big industry. But of course, things evolved, and the situation today is completely different. But Papa Bakunda started at a very young age, and then a little bit later, he became one of the members of Bakoló, and he was the main guitar player for Wendo. And so he played all these years with Wendo, and toured with him, Europe, the US, all over the world, actually, at the time when Wendo was really at his height.
Right.
So and some other musicians also played with him, like Willie, who is now the lead singer.
Lead singer.
He was a backing vocals for Wendo. Mike Plow, who is the saxophone player.
Yes.
He's a little bit more a free soul, and he's playing here and there and everywhere where he needs to go. And but
Right.
for the last years, he's been a member of the band as well. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, Bakunda is like the one who has been there for the longest together with
Right.
Willie. He's been there for a long time. But these musicians, they come and go, and the bands, they like today they are formed like this, and Bakunda and Willie will be there, but other musicians can be changed, and that's a little bit the idea about Bakoló as well. It's like the core group, maybe 2-3 musicians who are the core group, and other musicians come and go a little bit.
I see. I see. So are they, what about now that there's a drummer, the one who wasn't hospitalized, and then let's see who else. You mentioned the sax player, the drummer. Now the drummer, when it was hospitalized, he was not. He kind of was one of the musicians that would come and go and have other gigs with other musicians. And things like that.
For the moment, he's a real Bakoló member.
Yep.
But before, he has toured with other musicians, and he showed me his picture albums with all the musicians he played all over Africa. But it's like for the last, I'm not 100% sure, maybe for the last 10 years, he's been the drummer of Bakoló.
So all of the musicians are still alive that were in the movie, in the film?
They are. Unfortunately, Papa Bakunda is getting really old, and he's really he's a little bit ill. He's struggling at the moment.
Right.
I don't know exactly what's going on. I have my plan is to go to Kinshasa next January, and I hope that I'll be able to go and visit him and see him and talk to him. But apparently, for the moment, he's very weak.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope he'll recover.
He'll recover. Yeah. So what were they? I don't know if it was mentioned about their ages. What were some of the musicians about? What was the age range? And I got them. Yeah. What was it? What was the age range?
Yeah, well, the oldest are Papa Bakunda and Mike Plow, the saxophone player. Both of them are now 81.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And while Bakunda is struggling for the moment, Mike Plow is still going strong, and he is incredible. I just it's just incredible how he can dance and how he can play. When he's on a stage, he just turns into a real character, and he's everywhere he plays, you see the audience is really like, wow,
Right.
attracted by him, and he's quite a character, and
Yeah.
he's 81. But then there's also sometimes younger musicians coming and play with them, and they might be in their 20s or in their or so. There is Jocelyn playing at some point. The final concert, Jocelyn is coming to play with them, and
Which one was Jocelyn?
he's the younger guy who comes when they are in Switzerland.
Okay, is he the vocalist also?
Yes,
In earlier spots, yeah, darker.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jocelyn.
And in the studio, he's like helping my Plow with the recording as well.
Yeah, he's in his 20s.
You see him very active in the studio, and he's in his 20s, late 20s.
Wow.
He actually has his own career, but sometimes he comes and joins them and plays with them.
Okay.
Has a great voice, so he's really nice.
And Willie?
Willie is in his early 60s.
Willie's in his early 60s.
So yeah, most of them are like in their 60s, 80s, but you have these younger musicians who come and play sometimes with them.
So how is the music nowadays? Has the film? Oh, let me ask you this question. The budget since we're talking about, how has the film impacted the local community and helping to revive the music and the tradition and things like that? How has that been?
It's of course, I really, really hope that this film will help the bands getting concerts, being asked to go and play, I hope, everywhere in the world, because they deserve it. And they are worth, I mean, I've seen them playing several times. It's great to see him on a stage. And I've never seen a concert where people aren't dancing. You just start dancing when you hear them playing. So I really hope that somebody somewhere will discover them and ask them to come and play a concert. And just like we filmed them playing a little tour in Europe, I hope this can help them. The film can help them and getting recognized and in Atlanta, for example. Anywhere, I mean, they are ready to go and play. So the film has been shown on 2 festivals now in Belgium. It's going to play in France. He's playing with you. So I just hope that this will help them getting more concerts, because that's what they want. They just want to play. They just so far it's been difficult. Normally they would have had a little tour last year, but of course because of Corona everything was cancelled. So I hope next summer maybe they will have another tour. And I really hope that this film can help them getting concerts, because that, I mean, they've been, it was really fantastic to work with them, and they gave us a lot. They gave us a lot, really, and so I hope they get something in return for it. But of course, we can only try, and we try to make a film, and we hope that people will like it and that they will discover this band and that they will see the power and the magic of this band.
Right.
I really think it's something special.
Okay. Is the music, when the film, I assume the film has been shown there in Kinshasa, and
Yes.
is the music as popular, or is there a revival in the music and the tradition, or how is it up with the youth? Let me ask it that way, because I know
Yeah. Okay.
the
Yeah.
older generation would be very popular with them.
That's a very interesting question, and somehow it's probably easier for people who are not from Kinshasa to see the charm of it, of
Yeah.
this band.
Yes.
There's something, because for people in Kinshasa, they know this music. There's no surprise in La Rumba Congolaise. Everybody, younger people, older people, everybody still knows this music today. And there is an influence even in contemporary music. There is this influence. I mean, the guitar playing is very typical, and I recognize it, and I hear it in different kind of music. So it influences also younger people, but it's not. It's, I think people from outside are probably more open to the there's kind of a charm or something. And I think it's different for outsiders. We might see it more. I don't know if this makes any sense what I'm trying to say,
I
but
understand what you're saying, right?
but it's we, yeah, for, I think for Congolese it's like, I had those old guys, and for me it was like, what's this? I've never seen this before. And so the surprise is there, and it really is very touching. And maybe it's more common for people who live in Kinshasa. There's no, they know this music. You still hear it on the radio. So yeah.
Okay, yeah. See, I was It's interesting because I know that from the 1960s or so, they influenced Cuban music all over, especially Western Africa there, and into Senegal and Mali and everything, all the rumba bands that were very popular. So I was just thinking about if this helped to bring some level of revival in interest, you know, because contemporary music is so different in many ways, you know.
It is, but like there was this big advertisement when we were in Kinshasa for a very popular beer, a
Mhm.
local beer, Primus, I think it was. And it was announced with a big slogan, Rumba Congolaise. So
Oh,
they made a reference to this Congolese rumba
okay.
in that big publicity that you saw all over Kinshasa at that moment. So
Oh,
it is there, it exists, and in the film we have this scene in this little bar, this nightclub, where
okay.
Bakoló plays, and that's a fantastic place.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's a little bar, and they play the real Congolese rumba
Uh,
all night, and people go there to enjoy this music. It's the atmosphere is it's fantastic. It's electric. Um, so it still exists, but it's not the main thing today. Younger people would of course be listening to rap music and all different kind of music, but even in those music you sometimes hear the influence.
that,
Sometimes you get like little yes,
yeah.
okay, so it is in the DNA of the Congolese music. It's really like yeah, it plays a role.
Okay, good. So anything about the funding and the budget for the film? You want to share some aspects about how you were able to raise funds for this, or uh, anything about the financial aspects of that?
Well, I think it's the typical difficulties that you get making a documentary. We wanted to make a quality documentary. I mean, quality also on a technical level. We didn't want to go and shoot on a cheap camera and do it. We really, for us, it was really important that it would look the way it does now. So you do need some money to do it, but with it, the normal things, asking commissions for funding, getting some money from a TV station, getting some tax shelter money. So all little bits and pieces put together, we were able to get to our funding. Having said that, of course, nobody has been reasonably paid for working on the film, but that when you start doing something like this, you don't do it to be paid. It's just because we wanted to. Um,
Right.
so yeah, it's always a difficult story trying to find funding for a documentary, but we just got enough, and we were able to make the film.
Yeah. So you are located where now?
Belgium.
In Belgium. That's what I think.
Yes.
But so and were you able to secure some either private funds locally there, I assume, or funding nationally through grant organizations and things for the film?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. There is this. It's in Belgium. You have this film commission. You have to apply, and you have to make a big dossier and write a script, and it's a lot of work doing this. But we did it, and we got turned down a couple of times, but we did it again, and we started again, and we tried again just until we had enough. And there is also in Belgium, you have this tax shelter system. So we got some money that way as well. And then actually the film was sold in pre-production. The film was sold to two Belgian TV stations and also to Canal Plus Afrique. Um, so we really had to get bits and pieces everywhere.
Yeah. So what were some of the most memorable moments in making the film? Some of the things that really stuck with you about that?
Oh, there were many. I have to say, there were a lot of moments that I can. When I watched the film again just 2 weeks ago, because it was shown in a cinema, and at several moments in the film, I just felt like that moment again. But one of the well, I'm not going to talk about that one because maybe it should stay a bit of a surprise for people. There is several moments. The film has been shown on the festival. Yeah, it was this morning. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, when Papa Bakunda was in the hospital, we hadn't seen him for 3 or 4 days because he was in a hospital and the tour was going on, so we had to continue. And then, but we went back to him after he had been there for 3-4 days, and we took his guitar because he didn't have his guitar the time he was in the hospital. And he was so happy to get his guitar, because normally he plays every day. There's no day that he doesn't play his guitar. And after 3 or 4 days, he was like, and he took his guitar, and we were just there getting ready to shoot a little something with him. We didn't know what to do because we felt a little bit, it was a little bit strange to be in the hospital with him and put a camera on him. But as soon as the camera was there, he just took his guitar and he turned towards the camera and he looked into the camera and he started playing. And even now talking about it, I feel it was so powerful, emotional, and he was singing in Lingala, so I didn't know exactly what he was singing about because I don't speak Lingala. But I could hear the emotion in his voice, and the way he looked into the camera just touched me. And talking about it, I just feel that again. That was very, 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 very strong. It's a moment never to forget.
I remember that scene, and it was powerful for me watching it. It really, really was. It was a touching moment. Any other moment that you want to talk about?
There were so many moments. I mean, just walking onto the stage with them, I was so fortunate to be able to be with the camera on stage with them, and I just could feel the way they were playing and the emotions they had while playing because I was so close to them. That's always going to be very special. The night scene in the bar that I was talking about with my plow, that was fantastic because Kinshasa is such a busy city and it never stops. There's always a lot of noise, there's chaos, there's lots of things going on. And it's only like at night, maybe between 1 and 4 at night, that things turn down a little bit because as soon as the light comes, it starts again. And we were in this bar, and this bar is like on the, I don't know, 5th floor of a building, and you have this overview of Kinshasa. And it's the only moment that I saw Kinshasa quiet. But then being in that bar and you felt the energy and the music there, it was so beautiful, and watching over the city and being in this place was beautiful. But for me, the most memorable is just the contact with these musicians, because I really admire them. I think they are, for me personally, they are an example, because I hope I can grow old the way they do. They still play music the way they did when they were 16. I mean, they live for the music, even being 80 years old. And I just think that's fantastic. And I hope I can grow old and still do what I like to do. Because I often see people, and I mean, looking around here in Europe, all the people, they so often seem unhappy.
It's the weather. I used to live in London and I was always down. I'm like, oh, It's great. It's just be down.
Yeah,
No
but
sunshine, raining.
then
Oh, wow.
seeing the way they grow old and still having this passion, I think that's the main thing. Still having a passion at 80 years old, I think there's nothing more beautiful.
Right. Right.
So the main thing is meeting these people.
Were there any other? Yes. Any questions? Moji, do you?
The reason why I hopped on, actually, I wasn't supposed to hop on, but we have a 12 o'clock IG live.
Okay.
That I have to hop onto. So, and because I'm controlling this, I have to hop this.
Okay.
So
No problem.
if you just want to wrap up. Oh,
Right.
Tom, happy birthday. Oliver, sing us happy birthday.
Ah,
Sing us happy birthday. Don't you think we deserve that, Tom?
happy birthday to you.
Yes.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Wow, thank
Thank
you.
you, Bob.
No problem.
And thank you, Oliver, honestly.
All
And
right.
I'm going to tell everybody what you did to me last night. He called me at midnight.
Because I'm 3 hours behind you. It was 9 for me.
But it was midnight, yeah. And I picked up the phone. I said, Oliver, have you no mercy? He said, no. Do you want a moderator tomorrow?
You want a moderator? I need to see you. Yeah, it's been a very busy time for me. So
Yes, I know. So I'm really appreciative. I know it was last minute. It was last minute because some people dropped out and these things happen. And everybody is tired of being online. I get it. I get it. So Tom, we hope to see you in Atlanta next year. Can you hear us?
Okay, you're back. I just lost the connection was slightly unstable.
Yes. As I hope to see you in Atlanta next year.
I'd love to be there.
You know. So talk about upcoming projects and then we'll wrap up.
any upcoming projects?
Yeah.
Yes, but too early to talk about. Sorry.
Okay.
I mean, ideas and projects and being planted, but I rather talk about it when it's more getting more shape.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Emoji. Thank you for the festival and what you all do. Some beautiful films, and we are so happy that you brought this to the community, both of you, and what you do.
Well, thanks for having me, and I hope it was interesting, and it was nice talking to you. Thank you very much.
It was nice talking to you too. It's being recorded, so it'll be on our YouTube channel. The festival is still going on till today. Well, the films are on for like 72 hours, so people can still watch stuff till about Tuesday, Wednesday, and all of that. Thank you for your beautiful film, Tom. We're looking forward to seeing more wonderful work. My Scorpio brother. Oh my God, this is so special. Oh, you don't know. So special. So special.
I'll think about you every year now.
Yes, we will never forget each other. Never, ever. Yes, so thank you again. Thank you, Oliver. Thank you, people. Thank you, world. Be safe and see you later.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.